I remember hearing about this game that I always get the Mayans and the Aztecs confused, so forgive me, historians. Oh, I cringe when they talk about the Aztecs because I went to UCLA and I studied about the Aztecs for 4 years. And whenever they talk about the Aztecs, I just can't stand it. Well, click away, cocksucker. So whether it's the Aztecs or the Mayans, they played this game that was similar to soccer, if I remember correctly, but the goal was a hole in the wall on either side. And if you scored, you were sacrificed.
That
you played to
like
one.
I would not be good at that game.
So imagine a hole like 5 feet high, 6 feet high in a wall, and what it would take to kick the ball and get it to go in that. If I remember correctly, that's how the game is played.
It would take a death wish. That's the hardest part. Finding someone who wants to die.
And forgive me, it's been a little while. Oh, it's not been that long for me. I'm at UCLA studying this right now. You cocksucker. But it was basically like soccer, and you had to, I think you could use everything but your hands, if I remember correctly. But they had, they played until they did score, and the games could be very long. And I was thinking like, okay, yeah, it is hard to score, but I think those games are long because not just anybody was willing to be sacrificed.
Yeah, do you think there were there's a lot of passing in that game, and the announcers for the season? Another game of 0-0. A lot of ties this season, Todd. Yeah.
This sport looks a lot like tennis. The ball is right and back and forth. I don't want it. I don't want it. You take it. I'd be the worst defenseman of all time, just like stepping out of people's way and letting them go past. Yeah. I think most sports are silly. They're just silly.
At their core, when you break down any sport, it's like, oh, yeah, you take a piece of lumber and then you hit a ball, and then you run and touch some piece of fabric in a diamond shape and hope someone doesn't catch the ball.
Yeah.
If they invented, it's a good thing hockey is so old, because if they invented that sport now with all the overprotective parents, they'd be like, oh my God, they're wearing razor blades on their feet. This can't be a contact sport.
I'm Googling.
There's
here.
knives.
There's some important information.
Sure.
So there's I searched for Aztec soccer sacrifice, and there's something called the Aztec ball game, and it has another name like ōllamalitzli or something.
That's perfect pronunciation.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
So it looks like the coach or sometimes the entire losing team would be sacrificed. So now there's a whole new incentive to be good at this game. And there's a bunch of other stuff like the head. No, I'm sorry. The ball is meant to represent.
Guy at UCLA was cringing.
The ball was meant to represent the head of a sacrificed person, and there's some other things that spiritually meant sacrifice. But essentially, you lose, and at least in some cases, they would kill them, and it was an honor to be sacrificed.
I see. That's why.
Oh, but wait. There's some dispute. Well, okay, let me read it because I'm reading it now for the first time.
The way I learned it was the winner, and the way I definitely read it was the guy who scored.
Check this out. You might not be wrong. It is said that the ball represented the head of a sacrificed victim. In Temocletian, the ball court was the foot of the blood-stained stairs of the temple, and the ball game itself would be the scene of a sacrifice. It is believed that the losing coach or even the whole team might be sacrificed. Some historians have disputed this because it was an honor to be sacrificed. It may have been the winning team that lost their lives. So that's where that stands. It looks like they're...
How do you find enough teams to keep playing?
Yeah, that's Greg. He's the all-time greatest scorer, and he's dead.